Hello friends, this is Rajeev Katyal, author of the book Battles for Delhi, Delhi Ka Ribast. We're here to talk about Delhi and the various names associated with Delhi since antiquity. As we all know that the ruling family for the period of Mahabharata was based in Hastinapur, a place near modern day Meerut and not too far from Delhi. And there's a legend that is there in our scriptures also that the city of Indraprastha the Pandavas built was situated somewhere near what is today's Purana Killa, and where there are excavations happening by the Archaeological Survey of India even today in great earnest. Indraprastha was the area where the Pandavas built their capital. During the period which was between about the 5th century AD and towards the end of the 10th century AD, there was a place around Delhi which was called Yojnipur. Yojnipur, some people refer to even as the ancient name of Delhi, because there were a lot of temples either dedicated to mother goddesses or there were monasteries here where Jain nuns used to stay. But be that as it may, Yojnipur in antiquity has been a name associated a lot with the city of Delhi because of the temples and monasteries built around it. And many of these temples were destroyed later during Islamic invasions. It is to the credit of King Anangpal Tomar I that he set up a place called Anangpur as its capital for the Tomar dynasty. And for a long time the Tomars were feudatories of the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty, and they ruled large parts of North India. But the paramount power at that time, between about 750 AD and towards the end of the 9th century AD, was the Gurjara Pratihara kingdom. But as that kingdom became weaker, the Tomars became stronger and they extended their kingdom all over the area around Delhi. And Anangpal Tomar was the first king of the Tomar dynasty who established Anangpur near at the border of Delhi and Faridabad. And then many rulers succeeded him, and it was King Anangpal Tomar II who is said to have really established Delhi as a capital. There are various inscriptions, some in the National Museum, some around Mehrauli area, which talk about the fact that a city called Hillika in a country called Haryanika, which today is modern day Haryana, was established by the Tomar king, and this city in those days was called Hillika. In fact, it was Anangpal Tomar II who was famous for having brought and put the iron pillar into the ground which today stands in Mehrauli, and he also, using that as a center, built the fort of Lal Kot around it. He built, apart from the Lal Kot fort, he built the Anangpal Baoli, the Anangpal Dam. So he in many ways can be said to be the founder of what then was known as Dhillika or Dhilli, and later on came to be known as Delhi. There were many other illustrious kings of the Tomar dynasty like Mahipal, King Mahipal, and you would see a village called Mahipalpur while on to the way to the airport, or Surajpal, associated with building the Suraj Kund, which today houses hotels and many other activities, including the famous fair which happens there. And later on, from the Tomars, Delhi is supposed to have passed into the hands of the Chamana or the Chauhan dynasty. In fact, there are many inscriptions which keep referring to the fact that in the land of Haryanika, Haryanika means from the word Hari, the abode of gods, that there was a beautiful city called Dhillika established by the Tomars, and therefore the presence of modern day Delhi owes itself back to over 1,000 years, although Delhi goes back in antiquity, known as Rajeev, Indraprasth, maybe 3,000-4,000 years back, maybe even more.